blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen, cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blursed.
Ooh, welcome back to Blursed, everybody, the most blessed and most cursed podcast in all of Atlanta sports media. Today is May 2nd, 2023. Tuesday again, innit?
It's
I'm here.
Tuesday.
I'm your host, Hayden Cummins, and I'm joined once again by my friends Blake and Aaron. What's up, boys?
What's
Hey,
up, guys?
Your voice sounds deeper, man. You got a cold or something?
Just growing up,
I like
guess.
it.
It's all part of growing
Just
up.
Growing up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I'm almost
Yeah.
30.
He's got that
That's
Bijan
fair.
cold.
Oh, my
He got
goodness.
sick Thursday night and he's getting over it.
Dude,
That's right.
honestly.
I'm here to feed you that Kool-Aid.
I think Aaron might have
Well,
that too.
Yeah. Oh boy. Do
Oh,
I. Good God.
I didn't know if Aaron would be here today.
Although it feels like social media has turned because it was like more of a question. I posted a TikTok today and people were getting mad already, like that I was still questioning if that was the right pick or not. I was like, how has this turned that
Oh, I
fast?
haven't-
It's what Blake said. I think it's the Kool-Aid drinking. I think they've shotgunned a whole gallon of Falcons Kool-Aid.
You know what's weird though? I'll agree with you there. I noticed too the rhetoric has changed like very quickly on anti-Bijan to now people are like, I could maybe see Bijan there. I had a couple friends at work who one texted me the night of, or two texted me the night of. One said you're right, and I was like, I mean, I've been telling you Bijan was the pick. I just felt like we could feel it coming. But the other guy was like, you know what? I was pretty anti it, and especially seeing Jalen Carter there because as the weekend progressed and I thought more about it and I did more research, he goes, maybe Bijan's the right pick. And
Well, let me ask you this.
Maybe
First
he
off,
is.
or not you. Let me ask both of you. Are we doing Blurs of the Weeks, or do we want to just go straight into the draft?
we
talk?
should go straight into the
I think we all know what the blurst of the week is for me and Aaron.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
so
So really,
let's,
no need to go.
Let's just do it. Falcons.
Falcons.
Falcons. All right. So as we're warning our listeners and warning my fellow podmates here, start drinking the Kool-Aid because it's gonna taste better if you drink it now. Yeah, it happened, guys. We drafted Bijan Robinson with the 8th pick overall. How you feeling?
To
Yeah,
our
so-
chagrin.
so-
If you guys
yeah, so
didn't watch
for-
the live stream, it's still on YouTube, by the way.
Hayden's attitude went from positive chipper to just
Dude,
Man. Yeah, I was upset. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we did not think Jalen Carter was going to be there. That's the
Let's talk
bottom line
about,
for me.
but let's
Yeah,
talk about that elephant
that's
in the room,
huge.
though. Let's talk
Well,
about that.
so before we talk about that, I just want to say that Blake, as far as you calling the pick, you did, and I don't want to sit here and say that I didn't think you were right.
You're hoping I wouldn't be.
I was in denial. I
Yeah.
was like, everything points to us drafting Bijan, and I was like, there's no way we would do that. There's no way that could be that fucking dumb. And here we are. We're living in that world.
Yeah,
And we're back.
Let's address
Yeah.
the elephant first, the Jalen Carter elephant. So a couple of news articles came out right after Jalen Carter got picked saying, hey, we've been holding on to this information until he got drafted. We didn't feel like it'd be right to ruin his draft stock any more than it had been.
Uh-oh.
And it came out saying that UGA coaches were telling teams to stay away from Jalen Carter. Reports where UGA coaches were saying that, talking about a questionable attitude, talking about how it was hard for to get him to be coached up on Saturdays. I don't know the merits behind the reports. I just know these are coming out being published by.
I don't buy that. I don't buy it one bit.
Why?
I'll buy a
Because-
little.
I do buy it a little
All right.
too.
Well, then Blake buys it. Aaron buys it a little. So you guys give your takes, and then I'll
Aaron,
tell
I'll
you
hear
why I
those
don't buy it.
So here's why I buy it just a little, and I only say this because Hayden, I'm with you. I think I know where you're going to go with it, which is that it did surprise me to hear that they maybe would have talked negatively about Jalen, or maybe not talk negatively, but just
warn teams about.
yeah. So
Yeah.
first of all, with people with college coaches, with especially someone like Kirby Smart that's so prestigious now, you walk a fine line with you want to be honest enough with NFL teams that they trust what you say, but you also don't want to backstab the players that gave their heart and fucking soul to your program. You have to walk a weird line there. Okay. So if you only gas up your players and they turn out to be busts, the NFL folks don't trust you anymore. But if you do the opposite, then people aren't going to want to come play for Georgia, right? So, yeah, so he's certainly trying to, and all the coaches have to walk that line. But the thing that gives to me a bit of credibility to the story is what happened that fateful night when two folks lost their lives. And what I mean by that is the fact that Jalen Carter, knowingly street racing with those folks, you would have to imagine that he saw the accident happen and did not go back. Now, we don't have to get too much into it. This isn't a philosophy podcast. We're not talking about things like that. But I want to say that, yeah, if I was making the dumb decision to race, because I've certainly done decisions dumb enough to be on that caliber and more dumb, if
More
it
dumber.
turned more dumber, if you will.
The dumberest.
Yes, dumberst. If that ever happened, I would in that moment go back. As hard as it would have to be, you got to be a good person and you got to go back and check on your friends.
Be accountable. Yeah.
The
And
only
be accountable
the
for
only
your
people that know
actions.
this though are the people that were in that car with Jalen. So like,
Correct.
who knows?
Correct.
They were going like 100 miles per hour on Barnett
Yeah.
Shoals. He may have pulled away. Also, that's a crazy speed to be going on that road.
Right.
I was
On
back in
that
Athens
road.
last month,
We
and I was like,
see
"Are you
all-
kidding me? This is
We
ridiculous."
all know that road.
They
A lot of
almost
people
went like
listening.
into an apartment complex,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is nuts.
So first of all, and something I've got to clear up for me. So I've heard one and the other. Was Jalen the driver?
That's what
I don't
thought.
know. He might have been.
So if he's not the driver, then everything I'm about to say goes out the window. But if he is, then I think I want to still press on the fact that I don't care if you're drunk. I don't care if you're high, if you're both, if you're under the influence of other things. You should still have the humanity within you to stop and go check on the folks that you were street racing with. If it is a teammate and people and members of the team, which it was.
Little thing
So-
called integrity.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of integrity there. So to me, I am correlating that with what the reports came out with on the Georgia coaches, perhaps talking about character issues with Jalen. I
Well-
think that those two things do coincide.
Yep. And for me, like, so NBC Sports had it. A lot of different places had it. And the thing they were saying were the coaches were not too bashful. They were very blunt in what they said. And I think something you have to realize for college football, I know we realize it, but as listeners, that college football players, when you're on campus and you're part of a program, they have your whole life planned out for you. That you're in a strict regiment, and they try to make sure you're kind of in check the whole time. Once you go to the NFL, you're a grown ass
in
adult.
prison,
You have to take care of take care of
Yeah.
yourself now when you're an adult. You have to make sure
Exactly.
you're eating healthy. You have to make sure you're doing these things. And Jalen Carter wasn't doing a lot of those things without the coaches pushing him to do that stuff. And so I think a lot of people, a lot of teams crossed him off their draft list. And I think he would have gone much higher because here's my thing. The street, like you see Stetson go in the 4th and he got drunk in Dallas. And like, that's higher than people thought he was going to go. I don't think the car race at the end of the day was the end all be all. I think the coaching talking about this kind of stuff has to scare some teams because otherwise Jalen Carter goes before Tyree Wilson. I'm sorry. Jalen Carter's a better prospect than Tyree Wilson. Jalen Carter's probably the best prospect in the draft. So
there's a chance that Jalen Carter, without the accident and like I said just a second ago, I think
goes
the
2 to
accident-
Texas.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
one
I
to
think,
the Bears.
Right. Or one to the Bears. There's a chance that the Bears don't trade. Thank you, Hayden. That the Bears don't even trade that pick and he goes number 1 overall because he fits what the Bears' whole philosophy is.
Yeah. And if you look at the Eagles, it's the perfect fit for him because you have his former teammates there who like Jordan Davis, who was there with him in the trenches. So they can vouch for him.
Philadelphia Dogs. Baby.
Philadelphia Dogs, babe. They can vouch for him and vouch for the fact that, like, look, we can be there and help hold him accountable because it's going to take a team effort. He also, the nice part about Jalen Carter go to the Eagles, he doesn't have to step in day one and start. He doesn't have to be a hero day one. He'll be second or third string on that team and work his way. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll be starting before the end of the season and contributing in a big way because he's that talented, but he doesn't have to be the man there. And so I think for a lot of
if I may step in here, because I wanted to give my take on why I don't think it's a good idea
Please do.
for coaches to like, especially to have stories come out after the fact that we were smack talking our own players, because it does seem like there's a maturity issue with different instances that Jalen Carter has found himself in. But yeah, it affects recruiting at the end of the day. In my opinion, I don't know why it matters necessarily what the NFL scouts think of Kirby Smart. You don't have to, I guess, blow smoke up everybody's ass, but I don't know. It feels like a dangerous
Kirby's
thing
biggest
to
sales
do.
pitch is,
Yeah,
I'm going to get my boys drafted. Like,
I think So Hayden, I was just gonna say. So I said halfway what Hayden just said. The thing that I would piggyback off of and say that why it matters that NFL scouts trust what Kirby Smart says is that also ties back into recruiting. You get higher, people take your word for what you're saying, as far as NFL scouts, and they draft your players higher, they draft your players more often, and you can then point to that when you're sitting in someone's living room saying, "Come play for the University of Georgia."
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And like,
Okay.
I think Howie Roseman himself said, he goes, "I'll take all the Georgia players all day." He loves Georgia players. Like,
As
he
he
was
should.
excited.
That was my
Yeah,
take, and
should.
I've told a few people this. Like, Nick Sirianni is a offensive-minded head coach, and his theory is, you know what? Who is the best defense in college? Let's just take those players and put them
Yeah.
on my team.
Well, Howie
It
Roseman
works.
also,
It
though,
works.
has
Look
a
at
long,
what has happened with
It's pretty
Alabama
smart,
over the
yeah.
past decade.
yeah, but Howie
Take
also has had a
Alabama
long
players.
history of taking Georgia players too. Like, that's just, I mean, he's
Well,
one of the
I
best
think-
GMs in the game.
Well, I wasn't
He
being
is the
serious.
best
That's
GM,
what
in my
their.
opinion.
I don't actually think that's what their strategy was. That was a joke.
No, I understand what you're saying. But no, you're good. You're good. I just think Howie made a statement about it. I think he landed at the right spot. But my biggest thing, and why do we pass on Carter? I think a lot of teams had him off the list. And if the Eagles aren't there at 9, who knows how far he drops? I don't know. Like, I really don't know.
At least to 10.
So,
To Hayden's point, though, I think that it is something that we have to take into account that NFL executives and scouts and coaching staffs, from what I understand and from what I would imagine, is that they certainly call college coaches. They get their opinion. They want, they respect their opinion. But like anyone else, they view themselves as being a part of a higher level of football. And I do think that in that regard, they think, okay, well, I can do better with this player than Kirby Smart did. Or I can fix this guy. I can unlock something that wasn't unlocked in college because I'm an NFL coach and
Yeah.
he's not.
Yeah.
Oh, God, they better not think that about
Well,
Kirby.
I think
But you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
They
an
also can
entitlement
take the
and a
luxury.
cockiness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
They also can take the risk too. Like, they have the talent to be able to take that risk, where a
Yeah.
lot of teams picking the top 10 can't. Like,
That's
because if you miss on that pick,
Yeah.
it kills
Mhm.
every other team there.
I'll co-sign that. It's a much riskier pick for the Falcons than it is the Eagles. Eagles
we
are
talked
coming
about-
off a Super Bowl loss, and the Falcons are
Absolutely.
coming
Yeah.
off how many straight seasons of being terrible.
Yeah, I think five
So
straight
yeah, 5
losing
straight.
seasons.
So, like, it's just a different talent sphere. I mean, look at we talked about this in the pod, I think last week, or maybe it was the draft. Like, Seattle took that guy in the first round, 2018. He never played it down for them in the first
Who are you
year.
talking about?
It's the defensive tackle. I can't think of his name.
Okay,
It was
gotcha.
in 2018.
Doesn't
They
matter.
took him for like first round, and he never even played it down. And he has character issues. And like, I don't want that
So-
to happen to Jalen Carter. I'm rooting for him, but
Before we move on from Jalen, I want to ask Aaron, since he wasn't on the stream, if you're at 8 and Jalen's there, if you're making that choice for the Falcons, who are you taking?
I'm taking Jalen, and certainly over Bijan. Definitely.
So of everyone that was available at 8 for the pick, you would have gone Jalen?
Yeah, I think so. Especially, well, hold on. Which of the corner was Christian Gonzalez still available?
Christian
Gonzalez
Gonzalez
ended
is
up
still
dropping
there.
to
he went to 14 or 15.
he
14 or 15?
17? 17.
it was the Pats, and they traded
Pats
back.
at 17. Yeah.
To me, I probably would have taken Jalen Carter, but it would have been a look at Jalen Carter, Peter Skoronski, and Christian Gonzalez. Me,
Yeah.
leaning more towards Peter Skoronski. But yeah, I think that Bijan would not have even been on my radar there.
Yeah.
And I say that within the context of the question Hayden asked, not me and
Right.
my feelings on of drafting a running back, but just who was there.
Yeah.
I think I'm still going Peter Skoronski, or given that Jalen fell unexpectedly, I'm going Jalen.
Yeah. And I would like to. What about you, actually, Hayden?
I mean, it is a hard choice. I wouldn't have gone running back just because of my dime a dozen theory on running backs, and especially the scheme that we have built. It can be anybody. The same thing with Kyle Shanahan and his running backs. He has a stable of runners, but it can be anybody.
Crazy that he went after Christian McCaffrey. Crazy.
Jeff, this is the first year he'll have a full season of like a top tier running back.
Yeah, and he went after him for a reason. And I want to. So
who are his rushers before that? Raheem Mostert for like 3 years, Jeff Wilson. I mean,
but they did try. They took Trey Sermon in the second, and they took someone else in the 5th in 1 year. Like, they tried to get running backs at a high.
Yeah, but the
price.
5th round guy,
and the 5th is not top 10.
The 5th round guy is the guy that ended up playing. I don't even remember his name because he got hurt so bad. But
Well, Trey Sermon couldn't stay healthy or wouldn't get fit for camp. It was bad.
Yeah,
and now,
even
and now
Trey
he's on
Sermon,
the Eagles.
Second round pick.
I get that.
Yeah,
But
I know. I
think
understand that too.
The main thing my thought is, especially with Jalen sitting there were trade offers on the table to trade back because that was pretty far for Jalen to fall, and
Yeah,
the
somebody else would have got it.
Eagles were licking their chops. So my thought is that there was an option, and we decided to not go that option because we feared Bijan was not.
We'll
going
have
to
a
be
question
there.
for y'all, and I don't think he would have been. I think the Lions might take him actually at 12 if we don't take
I'm
him.
not convinced the Lions weren't going to take fucking Gibbs no matter what.
True, that could have been their guy,
Which is ridiculous.
I hate to. Yeah, I think Hayden, you're 100% right. They may have taken Gibbs.
What if
overall,
Robinson was still
but
there? They just took Gibbs.
If you want to go by like what you would say is traditional logic, yeah, you
Bijan
think
goes at 12.
that Bijan would go at 12. But Hayden's right. There's a chance that he falls further.
You know what?
They just take
Who's the
Gibbs.
coach in Detroit again?
Campbell.
That's the type of dude that he will draft his guy no matter what, and I would believe in it too. If
100%,
that dude is convincing as hell, I would be
convincing
biting
as
people's kneecaps
He
off
speaks
too
with
if I played for him.
conviction.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know what's crazy too about that? The reports came out yesterday that the Jets were going to take Jahmyr Gibbs at 15 if he was still there, which is crazy because they took Breece Hall in the second last year. Yes. No, Frank texted me this morning saying, dude, did you see the Jahmyr Gibbs? And he goes, I would have loved that. Like he wanted Jahmyr Gibbs. Because here's something. Well, listen, and here's something that look at Pete Carroll and the Seahawks.
Listen,
what did they
Linda.
do? What did they do? They took Kenneth Walker last year in the second, who I mean, you know me, I'm super high on Kenneth Walker. I think he's super good. He's super good. You know what they do this year? They take Charbonnet in the second, so that's back-to-back second-round picks. They took Rashad Penny in 2018 in the first round, and then they take Kenny McIntosh, our boy, in the 7th round this year. So they got 2 running backs this year.
You know, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but while you just mentioned him, it was very surprising to me Kenny went that late.
Oh,
I think we all would have said Kenny was a 4th or 5th
rounder.
He may not make an impact this year, but like 2-3 years down the line, he's going to be like an extremely good receiving running back, which is what the Falcons needed. And it cost a 7th round pick.
For sure.
The phone call that Kenny had with their GM and the coach, him crying, dude, it got me so choked up listening to that. He thought he was going to go higher too. I felt bad for the guy. Like he's more talented than the 7th round pick.
Well, I think, from what the report said, when he got the call, he thought it was a call to sign as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Because they do that the same day.
Yeah, they start calling. They have to wait till the draft's over, technically, but he was right there at the end.
Who would have thought that he would go later than Stead? That's preposterous.
I know.
To me.
That's the wildest thing about it. Yeah.
Lynch goes,
I don't
know. He goes, you're too talented to be on here this late. He goes, we're taking you. Like, and they don't even need a running back.
He's right.
And they're like, we're just going to take him because it's true. He is too talented. They'll find a place. They're good coaching staff. They'll figure out what to do with him.
With that coaching staff too, if he's the best player, he's going to play.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I buy that.
I mean, they got a ton of
100%.
weapons, though. They have Metcalf, JSN, Lockett, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet.
Well, but just look at what they did with Russell Wilson. To Hayden's point, it's the press or the ultimate example of exactly what he just said, which is that Matt Flynn. They gave Matt Flynn that big contract after that one game where he threw 6 touchdowns. Yeah. Everyone was thinking Matt Flynn is the next Seahawks quarterback, and they instead drafted Russell Wilson in I think either the 3rd or 4th round. And looking to be a backup. And what happened? He started day one because he was the best player. And to y'all's point, that's exactly what might happen with Kenny.
What's cool too about, and I want to piggyback, and I'm about to get in some Bijan Kool-Aid, is that Pete Carroll, a lot like Arthur Smith, is F the quarterback. Like my system can work without the quarterback. He moved Russell Wilson, and the same thing.
He proved that last year.
He did. No, he did prove. Yeah, absolutely. And he proved it winning with a young quarterback too with Russell. No one expected Russell to be the guy he was.
That's true.
And Russell came into a veteran team with Marshawn Lynch as their running back that helped carry them. He did help carry them to Super Bowl. I will say that. Marshawn Lynch, if they hand off the ball, they might have won 2 Super Bowls.
I also saw. Sorry, just to interject. We're kind of jaying off the Seahawks here, but there was a draft to talk about not putting any stock in draft grades right now. Yeah, because there was a draft grade. Bleacher Report gave the Seahawks a C- the year that they drafted
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, Cam Thomas, and one other guy.
What a draft class.
Yeah, there was a member of the Legion of Boom. They got 3 members of the Legion of Boom. I don't think it was Richard Sherman. I think they already had Richard Sherman. But they got Bobby Wagner, Cam Thomas, and somebody else in the same draft class as Russell Wilson. And they gave him a C-. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the mock draft people too, is like, these are all guesses until the actual draft happens. But
Right.
before I get into,
I want to point out before Blake moves on, Aaron said stalk there for a second, and I think that was just some work
Stalk.
lingo for him in the
industry.
they all
I'm just thinking of stalks.
But he corrected course. He said stalk. So
sorry.
Back to you,
By
Blake.
the way, I want to point out, I said Cam Thomas. I meant Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas. I know
and the
what you
guy,
meant.
and
Cam
Cam Chancellor was the dude I
There you
couldn't
go.
think of.
Yes,
Merged.
there we go.
Yes.
Merged. Yeah, they're the same guy basically in that
right,
defense.
Yeah, exactly.
I have another question before I actually spread the Kool-Aid is what did you think about the pick after watching the rest of the picks? Like the whole draft class as a whole, like the cohesiveness, and when you pair it with our free agency signings.
I thought they just did it out of order. I'm glad. If you tell me, like, if you say, I'm not going to tell you what rounds these people were taken in, and
these are the positions we have.
Here are the positions we have. I would love the draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then when you tell me where they were all taken, I'm thinking, why did we go in that order?
Well, here I hope to shed some light on why we took in that order. So roll back the clock. Like, here's the thing: we have to realize that the way we want to build a team and our vision for a team is going to be different than the way Terry and Arthur are. Hayden said this perfectly the other night. Like, Terry has the balls on him to be like, you know what? This is how I think we're going to build a team, and this is how we're going to do it. And we're just going to do it that way. I don't care about conventional wisdom. I don't care about everything else. This is how we're doing it. And then for Arthur Smith, look at his most successful time. It's when he was in Tennessee, and Derrick Henry was his running back.
When he was
for Arthur Smith, the quarterback,
right?
But he was
coordinator.
He ran the offense though. Like, I mean, that's why they're successful on the offense.
Vrabel is a defensive guy. Yeah, that was Arthur's offense.
Yes,
that's true.
And so fast forward, this is his Derrick Henry, it's Bijan Robinson. I hope he's even better than Derrick Henry.
Well, hold on.
Oh my gosh!
Before
Blake.
you go there, please, God, don't go there. I do want to point out what Arthur Smith himself said when someone asked him that very question. He got upset. We haven't talked
comparing
about
players.
Yeah, he got upset. He was like, the last
Henry.
thing that I this isn't a direct quote, but basically what he was saying was, the last thing I want to do is compare Bijan to Derrick Henry.
That's fair.
Because he was like, Derrick Henry is a gold jacket player. He's perhaps one of the most unique running backs I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to compare anyone to Derrick Henry.
He's the most dominant.
That was a good thing to say.
That's respectful. No, and that's awesome.
We've seen in the last 20 years, probably.
Absolutely.
Well, Adrian Peterson maybe, but
LT, AP, and Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, those three.
Those are
and so
three,
I'm not trying
which
to
is a
compare
hell of a list.
To skill. I'm not trying to compare their skill. I'm trying to compare as like that's the level of running back we need in this offense for our.
They're also very different. He's not.
They are.
He's not 6'7" or whatever the fuck.
Right. Derrick Henry's a mammoth.
He's so big.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
So for our offense, for Arthur Smith, Bijan Robinson will be the most important player. He will be like this. He's going to be the player that is going to sell all the jerseys. He's going to be the player that's going to be winning us games. This is supposed to be the mecca for the offense. And so you can't get Bijan Robinson level player in the second, third, fourth round. You just can't. Like, I know you're going to be like, well, running backs are dime a dozen. They're not dime a dozen. Derrick Henry is not a dime a dozen. Adrian Peterson is not a dime a dozen. No, they are until they're not. Though.
Hold on, though, Blake. Hold on. All right. So who are the players we just named as the best running backs in the last 20 years? Derrick Henry, Adrian Peterson, and LT, right?
Yeah, but we can name some. How many some more on that list?
How many Super Bowls those guys won?
That's what I'm trying to say, though. I know. I'm trying to tell you, you get to throw that out the window. Like,
it's zero. The answer's zero.
Yeah, so it's zero until it happens, though.
Fantastic running. No, it's not.
Well, Terrell. All right, so then I'll go back to '98 with Terrell Davis, who won a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls,
25 years ago, and the game is not the same. Yeah, and he had John Elway as his quarterback.
Yeah,
but.
The end of the road, John Elway. He did retire after that
y'all
second
can be
one.
Debbie Downers about this, but here's the thing:
that's not being a Debbie Downer.
This is what happened. We drafted this guy. He's going to be the face of our franchise. This is how we're going to win. This is how Arthur and Terry want to win.
The longevity of a running back is so short. He can't be a face of the franchise.
Win now.
That's not how it works.
Let's win the next 3 to 5 years. Like, that's the thing.
2 years ago, I was told Kyle Pitts was the face of the franchise going forward, and now it's Bijan. And I don't have faith in either one of them being that.
Well, here's something I want to say about Kyle Pitts. And like, I think the fact that we do always second guess that pick means Kyle Pitts it didn't work out. He's not the 4th pick overall. For Bijan to be successful, this time next year or this time the year after that, you can't be like, oh, we should have done this over Bijan. Like, Bijan this year has to make it where everyone's like, no, Bijan's the guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, and
after this season.
The way you have to treat Bijan this year because of the capital that you've put into him versus the money you're paying him, you have to look at him as like, we signed a star running back to a cheap contract.
And
is
his
the
prime.
way
Yeah.
like is the way you would have to rationalize that
Yes.
as being a really good fit for the team, because you stuck on that rookie deal,
Right.
and we don't have to pay him more money. If he pans out to be said Derrick Henry, LT, AP, then yeah, you've got a generational running back on a great deal that you can try to go win now with.
Right. And if that happens, is our offense not better that way than it'd be if we took any other player in the first round?
No.
I'm being serious. No, I'm being serious.
No, it's
How
not.
not? Like, because you have a rookie. Listen, you have an almost rookie quarterback who's going to be in his second year. He only played 4 games.
Good thing we
Yeah.
didn't
He's
play
gonna
him
need
much
help.
last year.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
happy. So
We
fucking
can't,
happy about
guys.
that.
We can't reverse time. We've
Fucking
complained
idiot.
about that enough.
We're not trying to
complained-
reverse time. We're just saying
My
what we
point
should have
is, we
done.
have to move forward with this.
God.
And I don't think there's another player you could have took in the draft to make our offense better this year. There's not a single player.
If you would, let's just
Play.
let's go back in time. a
No,
little
I'm
bit.
serious. Tell me. Tell me.
Well,
though.
before we go back
Let's
in
talk
time,
about the draft. Let's not go
Hold
back
on,
in time.
hold
Let's-
I want to
Yeah.
go back in time because it applies to the draft. I'm going to tie it in. All right.
All right.
If
do it.
if Ritter plays half of the games this year, we know for sure if he's going to be the guy or not. We still
Great
don't know
point.
that.
I think he
They're
can be,
committed
though.
to him because they have to be able to sell a draft pick of Bijan Robinson to anyone.
Yes.
But we know for sure, and then we know if we need to trade up and get somebody else.
Yes. Yeah.
Or-
Hayden makes a great point. If you put him, a lot of people were saying that.
Oh, you're saying quarterback?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So
So
a lot of
that's
people
where
were
the offense
saying
would get better than what it is now, besides Bijan.
we get waiting for the bye week before you start Ritter. But you knew your bye going into the season, you knew
Was
where your
late.
bye week was. You
Yeah.
knew it was late. And before that, about a month before, you had a 10-day, a mini
Thursday
bye,
night. Yep.
a Thursday night into a Sunday game, where
Right.
you could have gotten him ready and played that.
Do you think he was ready then, though? Like, I'm starting to.
Yes.
Well, no, hold up, though. Remember his first 2 games, how bad they were? He didn't throw any interceptions, but he didn't do much.
They didn't let him throw the
positive.
ball.
Yeah, they weren't asked to do much.
I mean, when he had 4 fumbles in 4 games. Like,
Yeah,
I think
which-
2 of them happened in one of the first games. My point is, I don't know if he was ready. I don't know. When we can always play like, second guess, and you're right. Like, I would like to have known more. I don't know if he was.
And
We're
so
not privy to that information.
you're right. But even not being privy to that information, what you can look at from the outside and see is that Arthur Smith picked both of the quarterbacks that were on the roster last year. He brought in Marcus Mariota and he drafted Desmond Ritter. Hold on. So you could say that as far as the not being ready thing, you either were blind to Marcus Mariota's ineptitude or you did not do a good enough job getting your rookie quarterback ready.
Or you just drafted a guy who wasn't ready to come in his first year. Like that, and that could be true too. I also would like to say, and when we've talked about this, like
I think both are his fault.
I don't think Arthur Smith was ready to move on from Matt Ryan. I really do believe it was an Arthur blank thing.
Okay,
I
I
really
don't
do.
understand the quarterback getting ready thing mid-season because you're saying I understand they practice and they study and like they get into the routine, but like as far as a talent perspective, you think like making them sit on the bench for like 10 weeks is going to get them more ready? No. It's like they get live action in the preseason. Yeah.
No, I mean I agree with that, but I think there's something about learning the game plan, learning.
You also I only ever played football at the level of high school. And so, which is the third tier, if you will, level of football. And even then, we made sure our backup quarterback was fucking ready to step in at a moment's notice in high school.
Yeah, but it's
Different level of complexity, but yes,
No, it's a different level of complexity, but the thought process should be the same.
Yeah,
especially when the stakes are higher, like they are at a professional level.
So we're gonna come back to the Bijan. I want to get into the rest of the draft picks, and we're gonna circle back at Bijan at the end. Second round, we trade up to get Matthew Bergeron. He is a left tackle out of Syracuse. He was the first left tackle to start as a rookie and since as a freshman since 2003 for Syracuse. He started 43 straight games, something like that. He was someone who was going to be almost got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys at pick 26, but they decided to go defensive tackle instead. That report came out today. I watched the video. It's kind of cool. And Dallas's defense,
the scout's son, right?
Yeah, and Dallas's defense, that they needed defensive tackle over Matt Bergeron. So we're going to be honest, because they have enough depth right there, left guard. But Matt Bergeron's going to be a guy who will come in day one, be a starter. He will be a starter day one, and he'll start through game 17. He's going to have rookie mistakes, obviously, but this is a guy who I think you can pencil in. He'll be your future left guard for years on.
A, he better be.
Yeah.
B, I'll be honest with you, Blake. I didn't know Matt Bergeron coming in the draft. Looking at Matt Bergeron film, some decent film. But something that I cannot help but put stock in is that he played for Syracuse.
A good Syracuse team.
A good Syracuse team, sure, but a Syracuse team that plays in the
ACC.
Is it the ACC?
Yeah, they played it. So Clemson's Brian Breesy and Miles Murphy, they were in their interview process this year, asked who the best offensive lineman they played all year. Both answers, Matt Bergeron was the best offensive lineman they played against all year. I mean, that's pretty good
fair.
when that's first round pick saying
and
that was the best offensive line.
This next take, don't put a lot of stock in.
The Jalen.
But yeah.
This is the stalker episode.
This is purely aesthetic. However, he looks like Jalen Mayfield.
They don't look alike.
That kind of baby face, like he's got the hair. It's just I don't know. They don't look like professional.
Matthew Bergeron looks like Jalen Mayfield's daddy.
All these Gen Zers look the same.
No, what I'll say about Jalen Mayfield is when he was picked, there were a lot, like I didn't know much about Jalen Mayfield when he was picked. There were a lot of pundits who said, like,
I just knew that he played for Michigan, who we just beat the fuck out of.
Right, yeah, it was a bad
my
game.
thought of
Yeah.
Jalen Mayfield.
Well, so Locked on Falcons is a podcast that I like to listen to help.
We being Georgia.
Yeah, so help me go I don't know. You know me, I try to get information from everywhere. He said when Jalen Mayfield came out that like we should not have picked him, wasn't going to translate like his translation to, because here's the thing, they say at guard compared to tackle, you got to be better with your hands than your feet as a guard, and then two, you got to be faster because the play happens faster. Jalen Mayfield was
but guards pull.
Yes,
way more than tackles.
Yes, and so Jalen Mayfield wasn't good at either one of those. He was bad with his hands and slow pace. Matt Bergeron's good at both of those things. At the Senior Bowl practices, he was one of the better guards at practice. And when they met with him, they fell in love with the guy. And I really do think he's going to be a stud left guard for us. And instead of like I said beforehand, I don't want to take a left guard in the first round when we know we can get a starter in the second. And I believe we did that. Like all these draft picks, it's good on paper until we actually play. But yeah, what's up?
All right, so you have the philosophy that you just laid out of, I don't want to take a starter in the first round. You can get one in the second. Why would you
for guard?
For guard, a more important position than running back. Why would you apply that philosophy to that position but not running back?
Because it's the difference. Because here's the thing: if Bijan is the player people think he can be, that's light years beyond anyone else in the draft. Like that's. If you're winning offensive rookies of the years, you're winning MVPs. Say you're like
it is, but you don't, or you shouldn't draft people thinking this guy might be a generational running.
But he has the. I don't know how they do prospect grading or anything like that, but everyone grades him out to be the number one prospect. Everyone grades him out to be the guy who's can't fail. Like I'm not saying he will be a bust or be fantastic. I don't know. We don't know until he plays. True. But based on what everyone else has said, it's like this is the guy who's the next coming of Adrian Peterson or the next Derrick Henry.
I'm hoping Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot don't get their ideas from Bleacher Report.
No, but
that's what I'm hoping.
Well, I'm not reading his Bleacher Report. These are NFL scouts saying these are. I mean, there's every pundit saying this. Like I don't know. Yeah. I don't do this professionally.
Let the record show, like, we're going to get behind Bijan. We want the best for him. We want him to have
a
good season.
Absolutely. Guy. I know y'all will.
I don't want it to sound like I think
he seems
player.
like a super smart guy.
He's a good human.
Yeah. Awareness. Yeah.
He called Matt Ryan the best Falcon ever, which was
awesome.
It was just a thing I've squatted on for a long time that you guys know.
Yeah.
I need to talk to Hey, whoa. My hot take was he was the best Falcons
and then he
player of all time.
Be in the Hall of Fame.
He still won't be in the Hall of Fame. And it's a low tier best player. Just saying. I'll stand by that.
Fight you.
I'll give you that. All right. But yeah. So I think Bijan's a phenomenal talent. It's just I don't think that's
No, I understand what you're saying. I just think personally, and I think for them too, they wanted a player, a home run hitter, a player that can change the game. And Bijan can do that in a way that, say, Peter Skronsky couldn't in the first. Like that's just how I see it. And they thought Bijan was that much better than every other running back. Because I really do think if they thought, Bijan's here, Charbonnet's here, Gibbs is here, like all within, they wouldn't have done it. Like if they thought Bijan wasn't that much better than everybody else, I don't think they're taking Bijan 8.
I'm thrilled that we didn't bring in like a Steven Jackson type or something like that again.
Oh, thank God.
Or like, tail end Todd Gurley. No offense, Todd.
Thank God. Yeah.
But, I mean,
I think Falcons fans.
I do like paying running backs smaller amounts in their rookie contracts, because that's when I don't even know if I would want to re-sign Bijan. It's early to talk about that, but
we don't know yet.
Especially if we're going to ride him for 20 carries a game, 20 plus, like just like how Derrick Henry is, but he doesn't have that same build.
I don't
know.
think they
Right.
will do that though. I think because of Algier being so that's something else is like we do have Algier. I actually think both guys will get 200 carries this year. I think they'll both get 200
They should
carries.
both be getting
This is my
20 carries a
nightmare.
game.
That won't be 20 carries a
honestly.
game. It'll be. I bet you they get 15 carries a game. I think he gets more than 20 touches, but I think he only gets 15
Oh,
carries.
sorry, I meant touches. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
So yeah, they should both touch the ball 20 times a game. Bijan honestly should probably touch it more in the air than Tyler.
Yeah, I think he will. If you
But I do also want to go back to what Hayden was saying for those who may not know. What Hayden was mentioning there as far as money, paying people and not paying people. We want to know that we're not coming to this from an aspect of we think the running back position should get less money. It's not our money. We're coming at it from an aspect of we think they should get less money because it can go to more important positions
financially. Yeah.
Yep.
But here's the
Better
thing. So
players
say that we do hit.
I
Matt
don't care about
Bergeron.
Arthur Blank's finances.
We'll say Matt Bergeron now is like
no, not at all.
above average to like a good starter left guard, like, and you hit that in the second round. Does it like if everything plays out the way we hope it plays out, does it make you feel better about Bijan? Like if these other picks
I mean,
pan out?
certainly it would make me feel better. Yeah, best case scenario is you nail all these picks, obviously.
Yeah.
Which we've done once in the past. There was
2016 was the last draft class.
draft.
And that was the biggest problem with Thomas Dimitrov in the 10 years he was with the Falcons. We had one draft class. Like he had good picks throughout, but he only had one good draft class.
Thomas Dimitrov has, as a Falcons fan, the best draft class I've ever seen and the worst draft class I've ever seen.
And it might have been back-to-back years almost, like close.
Close. They were real close.
Overcooked, you know.
Exactly.
It's hard to
He
find
also
that
had some
middle.
of the best free agent signings: Tony Gonzalez, Michael Turner.
They were
Alex
great.
Mack, three of the best.
Of course,
but he
he
also
drafted
had
Matt
Steven
Ryan.
Jackson, Todd Gurley. Yeah. Oh, Matt Ryan's probably his best draft pick of all time. But all right, let's fast forward to the third round. Third round, we take Zach Harrison. He is a defensive end out of the Ohio State. Cool thing about him is he's a 5-star recruit. He comes from a local
against Georgia.
He did. He comes from a local high school there in Ohio State, not one of these guys coming out of like IMG or any of those. So he came into standards probably way too high for him because the Watt brothers and went to Ohio State and stuff like that. Because TJ Watt went there, right? Or was it Bosa?
No, the
Bosa's.
Bosa's.
Watts
or
brothers,
Wisconsin.
sorry.
None of the Watts.
Wisconsin, that's
went there,
right.
yeah.
There we go. Bosa brothers.
Oh, man. They would
So
be
he had
pissed if you hear that.
They would.
Yeah, they would. They had a lot of expectations coming in on him because of that. He didn't live up to that. He really didn't. I'll be honest with you. He actually started playing his best football here in his last year, his senior year. And they said exactly what you said. He looked good against Georgia. He was playing his best football as the year went on.
Yeah.
So a lot of people believe that this was a high upside draft pick. You brought him into, I know we talked about how we needed an edge guy or a defensive line guy the whole time. But the more I look at this depth chart, and I sent it to the link to both of y'all in the notes page. Guys, we filled it up with a free agency. So let me just go over this real quick. Your defensive, you have Campbell and Taquan Graham. Taquan Graham's our 5th round we got in 21. He's actually been really good for a 5th rounder. He just got hurt last year while he was starting to play his best football. He's out of Texas. Your nose tackles, you have David Onyemata, and his backup's Eddie Goldman. Eddie Goldman came out of retirement, and that's solid nose tackle depth. Defense tackle, you have Grady Jarrett, followed by Timmy Horn. Another good player, Timmy Horn, coming out of college football. Grady Jarrett, obviously, he's our staple. And then on the left outside linebacker, you have Bud Dupree and Oju. How do you say his name? Ojuinji? I can never say it right. But this is the guy. He was the last Thomas Dimitrov, came in the 5th round. He's been a fine player. And on the right outside linebacker, you have Lorenzo Carter, Arnold KB.
I think it's Ogundeji.
Ogundeji, that's right. And then D'Angelo Malone. So, guys, our defensive line in our edge room is pretty full. Like there wasn't a place for a guy to come in and just have a big role. So it's really what I really like the fact that we went and got a high upside guy, a guy that Ryan Nielsen can develop, a guy who's the same size as Cameron Jordan. Is that the guy for New Orleans? I'm not saying he'll be a Hall of Fame player like Cameron Jordan, but I'm saying he has those intangibles, the size, the speed that you can't teach.
Right.
And maybe Nielsen with a year learning under these older, more talented vets will actually be able to develop the Zach Harrison guy into be a steal. Right now, he's probably the biggest flip of a coin of the guys we drafted, I would say. But I think there's one, he'll probably only have to play 20% of the snaps this year on defense, which is pretty good. Like he'll come in and get 10, 15, 20 snaps a game. And if he does better, obviously he'll start getting more and more snaps.
Don't we have other guys from like last year that we said are supposed to get developed too?
Arnold Ebiketie.
Yeah, Arnold Ebiketie and D'Angelo Malone. They both play the outside linebackers. I think they're going to slot Zach Harrison more into the edge rusher on the inside. He's a big guy. He's 6'5", 275. Where these other guys are a little bit leaner, more quick speed.
Which of these guys that we listed off on the depth chart, who is like under a 1-year contract?
Calais Campbell,
and
Bud Dupree. Yeah, we're the only two of those guys.
And I like both of those guys.
I like both those guys too.
I do want to say one thing that I've not talked about is I really enjoy what we did with the defense this year.
Absolutely.
I really do. But my problem is that in the NFL, you got to score points. This past season, we overachieved again with only scoring 20 some odd points a game, but the defense was weirdly bad at the beginning and got better as the game went on most games.
And our red zone defense was like the best part about him last year.
Exactly. So my problem is with the offense. It's been with the offense. And but I totally agree as far as who we brought in, the folks that were veterans, and who we drafted.
Yeah.
I actually really like on the defense.
And I think that goes back to why Bijan's so important of a pick for our offense to actually score points this year, because here's what we needed anyways on offense. You need an impact player. We talked about this last year. You need a star to win you games. Like you do. Like you need someone who can just make a play, make something happen. Bijan's that guy. He's a home run hitter. He's someone who can take an easy, like a handoff 4 yard. It's supposed to be like a 4-yard gain and make it a 20-yard or a 50-yard touchdown.
I believe that. I do, but it's funny that everybody they say that, and then they share the clip of him getting run down from behind. But anyways.
Oh yeah, that one was tough to see.
It's a great run, but it's like the first one on the highlight. Dude, it's like, come on.
Why is he getting?
Let's format this video better. That was also
for his freshman year too.
Maybe cut that one off. Maybe
right there before he gets tackled. Yeah, right. I agree with that. Our 4th round pick. I think this is my favorite pick of the draft. Clark Phillips III out of Utah. Yes. This kid can play, guys. He was he All-American. He was all defense player of the year for the Pac-12. He had 6 interceptions last year, 2 pick sixes. He had 4 pick sixes in his career. He's one of those ball hawking cornerbacks. He's going to come in day one and compete, if not start, for our starting nickelback, our slot cornerback. So
I was going to say, I brought him up before the pod to you. I think he should be the starting third corner. Honestly, the nickelback guy, him and D. Alford. But
D. Alford was really good last year, and he's the one we got from Canada. Yeah,
right.
He was a really good Terry. I would say Terry's done a good job finding players from all over to bring in during this time. So if you look at our defense as a whole, I don't know how Nielsen will do in his first year as defensive coordinator, but I'm giving this is my expectations going forward. Top 16 defense this year. I'm being serious. We should be a top 16 defense this year. You brought in Jesse Bates to be. I mean, he's your biggest free agent signing in I don't know how many years, probably since Alex Mack. He's going to be the leader of your defense.
I agree.
You beefed up your front line with Calais Campbell, David Onyemata. Grady Jarrett now has buddies up there. He has help. Also, Dupree's also going to be rushing. What's up?
Having Jesse Bates should also help Richie Grant's development.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Even Jalen Hawkins. I feel like Jalen Hawkins should still get a good bit of playing time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what you're going to see is a lot of players play. Like,
the goal is to be top half of the NFL next year in defense?
For our defense?
I mean, we brought in
a big jump. That's a big jump for us, though.
Dude, you can't sell us on the fucking veterans and then be like, oh, well, as long as they're top half, I'm happy with that. Let's get a little.
I am with Hayden there. So what?
I mean, I'm trying to be realistic about Ryan Nielsen. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. Why be realistic about the defense, but unrealistic about the offense?
What am I being unrealistic about? Here's my expectation for the offense. Okay, we should have a top 10 offense next year. That's my realistic expectation.
I'll be honest with you.
I'm the
opposite. Yep. Thank you. I'd say with what the talent we brought in veterans,
you think so?
And how we drafted it, we should have a top 10 defense, and I would be happy if we had a top 16 offense.
Well, there we go then. Well, I'm fine with both of this then. I hope y'all I think you're right. I think we should have a top 10 defense. I always get worried about saying a jump that big because you're saying from 28th last year to 10 is a huge jump, which is why I said 16. But you're right, though. I mean, we have the players to do it. We do have the players to do it. So I don't know. And let's get to the last 2 picks before we keep talking about the whole team. So then 7th round, we had 2 picks. Well, let's talk about our 5th round picks. We traded them both. We got Johnny Smith. Johnny Smith came in. He'll be our tight end 2. Obviously, we didn't draft a receiver in this draft class. I'm very happy
Jeff
about
Hook did,
this.
huh?
And the reason I'm happy about it is because you see the vision. The vision is going to be we're going to run the ball a lot. And we have we have Drake London, we have Kyle Pitts, we have Jonas Smith. Jonas Smith's going to be your wide receiver too, basically. Like he's going to be the guy that's behind those other two. And then Matt Collins is going to be a good blocker. Matt Collins put up 600 yards last year, 500 yards. He had a good year receiving for the Raiders.
Well, would you not
on the other
classify
side of
Jonnu
Devontae Adams?
Smith? Yes.
Yeah, but Drake London and Kyle Pitts are going to.
No, but I was just going to say, would you not say Jonnu Smith would be more of the tight end one, and Kyle Pitts would be more
It's like
of
a
your
wide
second
receiver flex.
option?
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. They'll run different routes for sure.
We want to
Like-
collect all these Swiss Army knives.
Yeah.
Nothing like
Nobody was really
more
good.
lethal than that.
Yeah.
We want to make sure
there's
everybody can be
lot
used
of-
everywhere.
A lot of Army
That always
knives,
works well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's
Um,
put Bajan over at center, then
I
put
think
Kyle
he will-
Pitts over at left
There you go,
tackle.
Alex Mack right
You
there,
joke,
yeah.
but I think Bijan will be in the slot some this year. And he should, I think. Like if you watch his college tape, he has several
yes,
over the
he should
shoulder
line up in the
catches
slot.
against Alabama. He had a
There-
huge one.
There should be sets where we have 4 wide receivers, 2 wide outs, 2 in the slot. And the 2 people in the wide out positions should be Drake London and Kyle Pitts. And the 2 people in the slot should be Bijan
And Cordell Patterson.
and Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you
that
could do
should
that.
be a lineup.
Well, there was
next
something
year.
too that I know you would like this, Aaron, way more than Hayden. Was like, I don't know what it's called, like the 22 set or what
Wing T,
what-
yeah.
the wing T.
Well, it's where
What
you
were
have
what were
2
you gonna
tight
say?
ends, 2 running
That's
backs.
22. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
22.
the
yeah.
first number is tight ends. The second number is people in the backfield.
Okay, yeah. So I think
That
we're gonna
aren't
run.
quarterback.
I think we'll run a lot of that this year, and it's going to be a mismatch nightmare for defenses just because how are they going to guard when you bring in people to guard that package? You don't expect your tight end to have a 4.4 speed like Kyle Pitts.
No,
and you
yeah.
know what I mean? And Tyler Algier, like I know we're talking about running backs dime a dozen. I'm really glad we have 2 great running backs because one, if injury does happen, God forbid, you have another guy who can tote the rock the rest of the year. Like you have that leader who can be there. But 2, every down, they have to be like, crap, this guy can run the ball really well. Every single down. I don't know. I think it's going to be a strength of ours that Arthur Smith will use to our advantage. And I'm hoping that's the case this year.
I am also hoping that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are,
And
sorry.
part of the reason I think the defense should be top 10 is because of the run game and the play style that we're going to have. So like our game plan is we're going to run the clock same way Tennessee does. And honestly,
gotta
it's kind of
shorten the game.
similar to the Seahawks as we were talking about earlier. That's the philosophy. Good defense, run the ball. And
Absolutely.
then, which is my nightmare as a pass game aficionado.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Very
you do like
boring.
that.
yeah,
very boring.
it'll be some quick ball game. So
Quick
yeah,
games.
grab
Well,
your
the
beer
cool part,
before the
though,
game
is-
starts.
Might get under 3 hours.
We may have more exciting plays though this year. Dude, last year, I'm sure y'all watch every game with me. How many times was it frustrating we just couldn't break the big play? We never could last year, ever.
Well, there were guys that were open. It was possible. But
Yeah. Oh, that makes me. I wanted to bring up Twitter. Let me read y'all this stat. So it's funny. So national media Twitter is starting to come around for the Falcons. Not saying like positive, like all positive, but it's about the fantasy game. And Art got a lot of like crap last year for Kyle Pitts not doing well for people's fantasy teams.
Yeah, Mr. Two catches for 19 yards, baby.
Yeah. So I saw
That was the Kyle Pitts special.
someone was tweeting out talking about the fact that like
He's
Kyle
catching
Pitts actually had
25% of the catch.
Kyle Pitt had a 28% target share last year too, which is like higher than Travis Kelce and stuff like that. And
But hey, I pointed it out then. I'll point it out again now. It's easy to have a high target share when you throw the ball 14 times a game.
I also think he was credited with some balls that weren't actually thrown to him. They just couldn't tell who it was going to. So they just
Yeah.
were
Well,
like,
listen,
okay, I
listen,
guess
it's
Kyle. I don't
30
know.
He was the closest guy.
33 of the 58 targets that went to him were deemed uncatchable. 33 of
That makes
58. That's over
sense.
half of the targets that went to Kyle Pitts.
That's
last year
well
were
over half, yeah.
uncatchable. Yeah.
That's why it was miserable to watch the pass game at all.
It was,
last
aw-
year.
it was awful. And I mean, we all watched it. Desmond Ridder made our passing game look so much better those
He
last
did.
4 games. And I'm hoping they build off of it. So other 5th round pick was Jeff Okudah. He'll be our starting second cornerback, opposite side of AJ Terrell. I think that is an upgrade over Casey Hayward. I do think he will do better as the second cornerback and not having to be the lead guy.
Tell me somebody
then-
you're down on. Who are you down on the Falcons?
Yeah.
That you're like, oh no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, give me that.
Um,
Oh, I broke him. I broke him, boys. I love this about Blake though, because he is an optimist, right? He always looks for the
He
like
is.
the
He
best,
is.
which that offsets Aaron and I.
Blake's gonna say somebody like
I mean, I'll be honest,
a fourth stringer.
No, my least favorite pick was the Zach Harrison guy, but I can see why they went for him. Like I said, he's our biggest flip coin. So like, I'm trying to give you the positive spin because y'all bring out the negative spin. If y'all need me to be the negative, I could be the negative. You're being.
I just want to
hear
one.
I want to hear.
I don't think you can be the negative.
Like one move we did this offseason that doesn't. Maybe not re-sign Lorenzo Carter and we sign someone else. Like bring in make a move for someone more splashy.
Oh my God, Blake hates Lorenzo Carter.
I like Lorenzo Carter, but
he hates him. Everybody, he hates him.
Blake. I think we should cut Lorenzo.
Okay,
Carter.
I will say that. Yeah, maybe I think linebacker is a weakness. I would like us to address linebacker probably still, like maybe bring Rashad Evans back in. Or
hey, let me ask you this: Does Ryan Nielsen run a 4-3?
He runs a multiples defense, so it switches.
Okay.
I think you're going to see a lot more.
Honestly.
I think you're going to see a lot more 5 secondary sets where you have 2 safeties,
like a nickel package,
and a nickel. Yeah, exactly. We'll be the nickel a lot. So
that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Like a 4-2.
I like it. I mean, it's worked for the Saints. It's worked for the Saints for years.
So in a 4-2-5, you'd have your 2 middle linebackers, and then that'd be your only.
No, it's only one. It's only one linebacker. No, it's 2. It's 2. You're right. It'll be Caden. It'll be Caden Ellis. Sorry. Yeah.
2 + 5 is 11.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's Caden Ellis and our second round pick last year, Troy Anderson, who I think
I like Troy.
I like Troy a lot. I think that if you look, here's something too. Jalen Mayfield, horrible pick.
There we go.
Worst player. He's awful.
You always say that one.
They should cut him. Well, because if you look at all of his draft picks he's had so far, like Terry, since he's come in, I don't like the Kyle Pitts pick anymore. I really wish we didn't draft Kyle Pitts. I really wish we went somewhere else. He's on our team though.
Clock it, folks. 6:27 p.m. May 1st, 2023. Blake.
I'm not going to deny he has talent and he can do great stuff for us this year, and I hope he does. But I really wish we went Micah Parsons or somewhere else there with that pick. Like that's probably his worst pick. I'm not saying it's a bust, but it's his worst pick.
Yeah, we can't say bust yet.
Yeah.
So
Jalen Mayfield was a bad pick.
Who are you going to take in the top 10 next year to help our offense out?
Yeah, because we'll certainly have another one of those.
I don't think they will. They shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to.
They shouldn't.
You almost got him in.
They shouldn't have to. Guys, if we have to take an offensive guy in the first round again next year, we're firing everybody. Like that's where we're at.
That's what I said.
That's where we're at.
All right. So have we rounded out the draft picks?
We need 2 more picks.
Finish them up. No one cares about these guys anyways.
Yeah. Hey, this one guy you should care about. So DeMarco Helms.
He is from Alabama.
Man. He actually led Alabama with tackles last year with 106 tackles. So that's something within itself.
I thought it was kind of weird how late he went. Is there any reason why?
So he went late because he plays like this unique linebacker safety role.
Like a star.
Because they had Jordan Battle, Brian Branch were their top 2 safeties. Yeah, he was their star basically. But that bodes well for us because with the multiples defense and a lot of nickel package, we'll be playing.
You can find that.
You will. So he will come in as a day 1 special team starter, and he may work himself into a role in the defense. But if you get a starter, like a special team starter from the 7th round, that's doing well. Like finding value in the 7th round is doing well.
Yeah.
And then our last pick was Mr. Jovan Gwynn. He is a starting right guard for the South Carolina Gamecocks. So we went two SEC guys in the very end, which I think if you're going to go SEC on your last picks, it's pretty smart because they're playing the best talent anyway. So maybe they're the best chance to actually be a good pick. This guy is going to be someone who will be just a depth guard guy, and he will also
he makes the team.
If he makes the team, he'll probably make the practice squad like Justin Schaefer did last year. But they're also going to try him out at center. So if Dahlman has a bad year and maybe he proves himself worthy, maybe fights himself up there. So overall, I think we landed 3 starters from this draft on 2 on offense, 1 on defense, and then we got a special team starter, and then a depth guy. So overall, I think it's a good draft, and I'm hoping this is like a draft class where you're like, that was a great draft class. Because I think last year, if you look at our draft class last year, like I haven't heard us complain about Drake London really. Like he didn't have the year we wanted him to have, but he did the best he could in every game.
He did better than I thought.
It's not on him.
It's on him, right? And so
I have nothing negative to say about Drake London.
And then you have Troy Anderson in the 2nd round last year. We like Troy. We're big Troy guys here.
We do like Troy.
Arnold Adekabi and D'Angelo Malone. We're still figuring that out.
Got to see more, but I also don't. I mean, I
don't dislike him.
Yeah.
So
I do think this is the prove it year for Ebiketie.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's the same thing that happened with Richie Grant last year. Richie Grant in his first year didn't play much. In the second year, he had a much better year. And it was hard to tell if his downfalls were because of just a bad secondary or if he's the problem. So, I mean,
right.
Like you said, Jesse Bates should alleviate some of that.
Yeah.
So overall, with all the things that happened, the draft, the free agency. We're not done with free agency yet. We still have $9 million we can spend. So I'm sure you'll probably see us go out and get maybe a veteran linebacker still. You may still try to see us go get some more guards for camp. Like, it's going to be a tough camp. Like, there's going to be some people who made the team last year who won't make the team this year. And that's a good thing. We talked last year how we had the most depth we've had in a while. This year, we definitely have the most depth we've had in a while. My expectations right now, if I had to set 10 wins over under, I'm going over.
Over 10.
Over 10. Well, I was gonna say 9 was gonna be my over under and go over 9 because I think 10 might be the sweet spot, but that's where I'm.
I'll agree with you, but only in the sense that I think Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith set that expectation with taking Bijan.
They did, absolutely.
I think if you making that pick tells me that you think we're going to win 10 or 11 games and be in the playoffs.
Yep. And I think that should be our expectation. I think as a Falcons fan, you must have that expectation going this year. And if they don't live up to the expectations, minus some catastrophic injury where we lose
some weird injury
exactly. We don't know. But besides that, the expectation should be playoffs, win the division. And I'll say this too for Bijan. He should be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. I won't say he has to win it. I said it before he needed to win it. I won't say he has to because every year I feel like someone gets snubbed who I think should win it and they don't win it. He needs to be in that top conversation.
He
with the
needs
top
to be there.
And I mean, I really think not just based on how we have drafted, but also because I think the NFC South is probably going to be one of the weakest divisions in football.
Once again,
because we have a Tom Brady-less Bucks. They have Baker Mayfield, who's bounced around the NFL.
He's not.
We have Bryce Young.
Now Kyle Trask, I think, they might try to start too, which is awful.
Oh Christ, that's worse.
You've also got
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bryce Young. Yeah.
Bryce Young with the Panthers, and
then Derek Carr with a team that's like in cap hell right now, who they're doing everything they can to stay mediocre. Like the Saints they're going to probably win 7-8 games again.
So yeah, well, I mean, so let me throw this out, y'all. Somebody heard a bad take on 19 on the game, or at least I hope y'all agree it's a bad take. It was a take, yeah, right? Them. That's never happened. By the way, I know we like Mike Conti, Blake, but
was it from him?
No, but ever since he took over as like the head man at 19 on the game, they have gotten considerably worse.
I've noticed that too.
So I'm not saying it's his fault per se. Maybe he had some weird things he got pushed into, but I don't enjoy them as much. Either way, though, I heard one of their guys say that, and I thought he was talking about draft. I thought he was grading the draft at first with this take, but no. Upon further clarification, he was talking about how the division should actually play out. He said Carolina was the team to beat.
Who?
That was my reaction too.
Blinking guy emoji, right?
I was like, hold on.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I was like, let me continue to listen and hear that he's saying the draft. And no, he was not saying the draft. He was saying, I could hear someone make the argument that they had the best draft in the division. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that argument.
I don't even know how much they gave up for Bryce Young. I don't even know if they had the best draft. And that's you were going to say this earlier. Like, we would know if we needed to trade up. Trading up in this draft for quarterback scared me because look how much they had to give up to get up there to get Bryce Young. And they're not going to be good for probably unless Bryce Young is the next Tom Brady. They're not going to be good for 2-3 years because they gave up so much to go get him.
He's not going to be.
And Will Levis dropped the second
round. The next Tom
too.
Brady will be a sixth rounder that no one's ever heard of. Brock
Purdy.
Yeah, Brock Purdy. BP, baby.
BP,
but anyway, so I just thought that was a wild take. I thought it was insane.
I think they'll be the third best team. I think they'll be better than the Bucks. And I think
by the way, when he went down the division, he was like, I think Carolina's the team to beat. And he was like followed pretty closely by New Orleans. And then he was like, then it's a toss-up between the Bucks and Atlanta.
Was this today?
No, it was like last week, but it was after.
But still, our free agency should have been enough to be like.
It was after the draft. Whenever,
that's.
So I was driving home.
And he's a Falcons. Is it Atlanta Sports Radio? That's disturbing to me because I feel like. So I'm gonna give you draft grades. My draft grade's B+, which might be higher than yours. I'm just doing the whole draft as a whole. I think anytime you can land 3 starters in a draft, you got to at least get a B in my book. I know. And then you may have had a 4th future starter down the road. I'm going to be B+, but my free agency as a whole, I'm also going to give an A-. So I'm going to give him like a B+, A- for the offseason. And I think that makes us the best team in our division. And I don't even think I don't think it's close.
That. I do. And I'd also go as far as to say we should be thought of as at least one of a joint project as the team to beat in the South with New Orleans, just because.
Yeah, they got Derek Carr. And
Yeah, right.
They've been the team to beat. Yeah.
But grading wise, man, I'll be honest with you. If you told me to grade rounds 2 through 7,
Yeah.
I'd give it a B plus, A minus.
Yeah, I'd go.
Right.
I'd honestly go A minus for
A
the
minus.
2 through 7. Yeah.
But factoring in the whole draft, I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna go all the way down to C.
See?
Yeah, C plus, that range, just because of how fundamentally I'm
you
opposed
disagree.
to what they did,
And for
not because of Bijan Robinson as a player, but because of the.
And for the listeners at home that don't
The implication.
understand this, it's also not because we didn't take Carter, because there's Georgia fans who are pissed that we didn't take Carter. It's the financial implications of taking a running back that high, because the money's tied up in a position that has been deemed less valuable to other teams.
Yeah,
you keep saying that word, implication, and I'm sorry. That got me hating. I love.
They'll do it because of the implication. That's why we drafted Bijan Robinson.
What about you, Hayden? If you had to give a.
It's so hard just because there's so many variables that go into it. If you just look at like player talent and stuff that we've brought in, I would give it a B plus as well. Yeah, but then you think about the other variables and like how we're going to make those pieces work. I don't know. I'll just split the difference. I'll go with a B. Just because I don't buy into Art yet, really, still. I think he's a really good offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And if Ryan Nielsen can be good, then maybe together we'll have a good team.
Yeah,
sure.
But I don't know. The Falcons in me feels that we're going to fuck this up, even though we're supposed to win the division. And like, I'm not satisfied unless we win a home playoff game, because we should win the division. We'll host a playoff game at the very least, and we should win one more on top of that.
Let's see how Ritter looks come playoffs.
I think Hayden,
I'm with you.
I think Hayden just made a fantastic point, especially looking at what the Jags did last year in the AFC South.
Yes.
North?
South. It is South.
In the AFC South, because almost the exact same thing. Shit division, good draft, young talent, hosted a playoff game.
Good free agent signings too.
And good free agent, and then won said playoff game. So I think that you would have to shoot for doing exactly what the Jags did last year at a bare.
And they're a wild card team, actually, though.
The question is, do we still have our Urban Meyer in house?
Oh my god. No, so I don't think so. No, I don't think so either. I want to say this too. Like,
that's too mean. Yeah,
he's bad. It's really bad.
He was really bad.
I know y'all aren't as high on Arthur as I am, but I just think if you look, he has made some bad. Listen, he's made some bad decisions. It's easy to point out bad decisions. We can all point out hindsight 2020 and stuff like that. And we'd also talk about our own takes from outside of the house. We're not inside there knowing what's going on day to day.
Right.
But what I will say, he overachieved with the talent we had the last 2 years. Like 7 and 10, like y'all both said, your over-under was like 5, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Won 7 games. He overachieved the last 2 years. I think with a genuine roster, we can compete. And this is a make or break year. Like, this is the year that he's going to have to win you over, or you're going to be like, you're out of here. And I agree with you. I think it's fair. This is the year. And I think every Falcons fan should have that same opinion. And if he doesn't do well this year, we should all be asking for him to be fired.
So my early prediction is that he'll do just enough not to get fired. So he will win the division by way of a tie breaker, and then we'll host a divisional round
playoff game.
Lose wild card round, actually. Yeah, lose at home to someone that we shouldn't lose to.
And he keeps him. The old Mike Smith effect.
See, I think I really do think the Falcons are going to be like the Jets of last. Well, the Jets didn't get to do it because they didn't have a quarterback, but I think the Falcons are going to surprise teams this year. Like, because there's no one expects the Falcons to be good this year.
One thing that mediocre coaches can't hide behind anymore with a 17-game season is going 500. Can't do it unless you tie. And so, yeah. And don't get me wrong, the 8-1 mediocre season, I don't know if it's happened yet. I would love to see it.
But love to see it.
But yeah, you can't go 500 anymore. So plus I don't even know, is 8-1, is that still 500? Is that how that works?
I think so, because it's a tie. I don't know.
I guess it doesn't count toward the percentage. I don't really know how that works. Either way, I would realistically predict what Hayden said, but I would say that, I don't know. I'd hope Arthur Blank would say that's not good enough. I'd hope he'd learn from his mistakes of the DQ era.
For sure.
I don't think he has.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Arthur
Chocolate
Blank
Lowe's,
is
everybody.
what I love Arthur Blank, but God, he gets too emotional with these hires and firing,
yeah,
and
he does.
he gets attached to guys. So I mean,
He's best friends with Art's dad, so it doesn't help.
Nope. No, it doesn't.
It's a friendship on the line for him.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're about an hour in. We want to move over to.
well,
All right,
I was gonna ask you-
closing notes here.
I was going to ask, do we want to talk about other sports? Or do we just want to have a Falcon draft thing?
I mean, let's touch base.
A quick base. I kind of want to save the Hawks till next week because here's the thing: we're not going to be talking much Falcons next week, and Hawks are about to be on they're on vacation anyways right now, so nothing's going to change between now and next week. So we'll wait to talk about the Hawks because I have a lot to want to say, and we're already
we lost, didn't we?
Yeah, we're eliminated. If you live under a rock, you didn't know that we're eliminated. Boston beat us in 6. We'll talk more about this on the next pod.
Oh boy! All right. I guess we can talk about Aaron. You have any United updates?
Let me quickly get into United.
5 stripes.
Then I think I might have to bow out after that. But yeah. So Atlanta United, worst week of the season. Not much to say beyond that. We lost in midweek Wednesday. We played a U.S. Open Cup match. First round, or our first match in the Open Cup. It was in the 3rd round because that's when the MLS teams come in. For those of you that are unfamiliar with what the U.S. Open Cup is, I'll give you a quick little tutorial. It is the domestic cup for the United States of America's Professional Soccer Association, and it is what most countries have. It's a secondary competition that is also very prestigious. It is, you ready for this? The oldest competition in the entirety of United States, or in the entirety of this country's sports. It's older than the Stanley Cup. No tournament is older than the U.S. Open Cup, which is something I did not realize. It spans way back past the MLS, past the league that came before the MLS, and the league that came before that. Lamar Hunt, the person that started, he was big into starting the NFL. He started the AFL. He's the person that started the Kansas City Chiefs, and he loved soccer, and he started the U.S. Open Cup. And so there's your quick little tutorial.
That's
on
cool.
That. Yeah. Now, that's why the trophy is called the Lamar Hunt Trophy. The AFC Championship Trophy is also the Lamar Hunt Trophy. So, anyway,
your sports trivia of the week. You're welcome. I hope you win because of that.
Exactly. Yeah, throw that at your boss at work. So, so I'll just lay it out plainly. We played like dog crap on Wednesday. The opening 5 minutes went about like you'd think it would, with a MLS team playing a lower division side. We scored in the first 5 minutes to go up 1-0. And it's like everybody thought the game was over. It's like they thought it was a sudden death match. Oh, we scored, game over, we won. And no, Memphis 901, cool as hell name, by the way.
Yeah, it is cool.
Because that's their area code. So instead of that, they didn't do none of that FC bullshit. No, they're the Memphis 901.
Oh, they still are FC.
Oh, they're Memphis 901 FC.
FC, yeah.
I like it less now.
Yeah.
I thought it was just Memphis 901. All right.
Sorry,
anyway. Regardless, they played their damn little hearts out. We were up in Kennesaw. I think some could say that may have had a factor in the game because that was like a stadium that.
But you shouldn't say it.
Well, you shouldn't. But you shouldn't have to, I guess, would be the regard.
Shan't.
But yeah, shorn't. But yeah, so we played so far down to the competition. Now, I do want to make a brief caveat. Caveat counters at 1, by the way. Blake hasn't said it yet today, but which is weird. But we played a lot of backups. We played a lot of youth players too. It was a mix of backups and youth players. We had some starters in there. Luis Araujo, it was a confidence game for him. And you know what?
No confidence.
He didn't do shit. So, I'll tell you that back. He actually assisted on the first goal. And then you could tell he was like acting like I'm the best player out here, and he is. But I don't know, it just didn't come together, man. It just didn't. And so Memphis gets back into the game. They score. It was 1-0 all the way to the 80th some odd minute. They score. We go to extra time. They score again. We lose. Pretty disappointing. Here's the thing I want to point out about that game. Gonzalo Pineda came out afterward when asked about it and said, we weren't ready to play. And he said that. I'm going to let that marinate with everybody. He said that as if it was
someone else's job.
Reason. Yeah. So I would like to, Gonzalo, if you're listening, buddy, Gonzo, G-Man.
Don't say that.
Which one, G-Man or Gonzo?
No, I'm saying to him, you shouldn't say that. You should
Oh,
never
yeah,
say
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah. Listen, bud, I wonder if you were to scour through the organizations and their role and the roles they're in, I wonder if Atlanta United employs somebody whose sole fucking job it is to get the players ready to play. Tell me, I wonder if that job exists in the organization, top to bottom, top to bottom. Let's scour. Oh, I found one. It's called manager of the first team. First team manager. That's your job, getting the players ready to play. I would have rather him said, we didn't want to be in the U.S. Open Cup. We thought that the strain of having to play in 2 competitions throughout the year is too much, and I'd like to focus on the MLS season. Say that.
Yeah, just say
Be
that.
honest.
Yeah.
And move about your day. Instead, you gave me some bullshit that makes me think you're incompetent. So,
And then followed up the next game.
yeah, let's follow it up with Saturday. We go and play a huge road game in Nashville. It's a road game because Taylor Swift was in town. The Queen takes precedence, of course. And so, and that's also why we played at Kennesaw. So she actually affected 2 of our games.
Jesus.
They had to get the stadium ready for her concert. So that's why Wednesday we played in Kennesaw and not in Atlanta.
She actually affected a Janet Jackson concert too, I think, because they were supposed to play
the Hawks playoff
right.
Game affected it.
And they were going to move it to Mercedes-Benz, but they couldn't because the
I
Queen
didn't know
was
they were
there
gonna,
too.
okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know they were going to move
it
to
wasn't
the
like
Benz.
directly, but indirectly she did that too.
All right. So anyway, yeah, we go on the road. We play a very good Nashville squad, a team that, you know, in the position we're in the year and where we'd like to be at the end of the year, you got to perform against this team on the road.
They're a playoff team.
Oh, absolutely. And he makes a very puzzling decision. So Yorgos Yakimakis was out with injury. Instead of throwing Miguel Berry, our backup striker, the person whose job it is to be there when the first striker's not there, we put Machop Chol. And Machop Chol's had his best season to date yet. All right, I'll give him that. But he doesn't play striker. He's not a striker. He is a midfielder. He's a holding midfielder at that. The man is good in the air, but I mean, offensively, that's about where his skills stop.
Were you worried before the game started?
I wasn't worried, but I was puzzled. I meant to say something in the Discord, but I was at Levi's. We were having a magic day.
He was
and
mystified.
So, yeah, I was mystified by it. And so, yeah, I don't know. And so I got to thinking, I was like, all right, you know what? Machop Chol's athletic. Maybe he used to play striker. He's good in the air. Like I said, we can get him some service and maybe he can make things happen. He didn't. He didn't make anything happen. Miguel Berry comes on at the half and also didn't make anything happen. Almada scores. Imagine that. But that was about it. Yeah, it was a penalty. That was about it for Atlanta, though, folks. We drop that game 3-1. So we're still in third place in the conference.
So
I'm beginning to think, before you get onto that, Blake, I'm beginning to think that while I hope the team puts it together and I hope that we continue to play well, we aren't really as good as our record would say. We're third place, but I don't think we're as good as the third place team should be.
I see what you're saying. You probably think we'd still play up in more around 6th or 7th.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. I mean, based off how we've played.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've gotten 2 lucky wins. Which is the difference in 4 points in the table.
Right.
And let me look at the MLS standings real quick. And
that would put us tied. That would put us at 6th and 7th, 8th.
See, there you go. So that's what we said.
Yeah.
So 2 lucky wins. And I'm talking about the first win of the year when Almada bangs 2 free kicks in added time that should have been a 1-0 loss and was actually that wouldn't be the difference in 4 points. That would be the difference in 5 points.
5 points.
Yeah, so
which would put us at 9th.
Okay, and so that's even better. What we were saying there. I mean, we should have lost the opening game.
It is tight. It's very tight.
Yeah, it is tight. We should have lost the opening game, and then the game against who was it, Blake? The game where we had the winner come off of Juan Parada's back that I called you about afterward.
Oh, Chicago.
There it is. We should have tied Chicago based off of how it went. And we should have lost the first game.
So is a couple of our issues, because I feel like this happened last year too, is one, I feel like leadership. Like you see Guzan go out and we just don't have anyone like who are people like Michael Parkhurst, who used to be like a leader on the field, like an older
Who's the
vet.
epitome of a captain?
Yeah, we don't have that. Like we
No.
don't have that vet
No.
presence to
So,
help keep the team focused, to keep
I'm
the
hoping
team.
he comes in. We signed a guy for that role, for that veteran, and he was one of the injuries last year and still hasn't come back yet with Ozzy. I'm losing his name here. The guy from Seattle that Pineda wanted to bring with him.
The Smith?
No. Sorry. God, I can't believe I'm blanking on this guy's name. He's a great midfielder. He's a defensive midfielder, and he plays that exact role that you're trying to say. Hold on a second. Ozzy Alonso.
Ozzy Alonso, that's right.
Ozzy Alonso we helped break a great streak for him. Ozzy Alonso last year was his 15th year in MLS. He'd started every single game. He's one of the most seasoned MLS vets. That, like I said, that's why we brought him in. He played with Gonzalo Pineda and then was also coached by as an assistant coach Gonzalo Pineda. Yeah, that's how long he's been around. Ozzy Alonso had made 14 straight playoff appearances in his career.
And playing with us.
And then he came to Atlanta and we broke that.
Well, he didn't play though, so I mean,
he only played a few games because, like I say, he tore his ACL. So he's still not back from that.
I think our oldest players right now are like mid-20s.
Yeah,
like we're a young team. So I mean, if you look at the future, like there's still a lot of talent on this team, but we're missing veteran leadership. And then the other thing I think we're missing is a second striker. When Gigi's not playing,
Miguel Berry's just not it. He's not it right now.
Yeah, we're just not good without our second striker right now. So those are the two things I see. So I think we're only as good as the sum of our parts right now. So if everyone's there and healthy, I think we could play against anybody. But if we're missing a player or two, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's move on then. Before we talk about the Braves, couple of notes. If you guys have not joined our Discord community, we have some new members as a result of the stream. We have Valton. I don't know who that is. And we have London Juke. Thanks for joining the Discord, everybody. It's a fun spot to be. Chirping at us during the draft in the chat. And
it's been very active. And
we also had our caller.
Yeah.
Frank, thanks for hopping in our live stream.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for just coming by the live stream. We had up to 17 viewers at once. We averaged around 5-6 watching the whole time, which is that's big for us. Our first live event. It was a lot of fun. We appreciate the commentary. If you haven't watched it, you can go look online. It's our live reaction to the first round. But it was a lot of fun. We hope to do more things like that. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a comment. If you missed it, try to join the Discord because that's where we'll post our next one, and we'll definitely put it online too.
Yeah, maybe we'll try to watch some games together or something like that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Braves.
Ooh,
that was good timing. All right, so not a ton has happened since we last spoke because of how much rain has just been pouring on the city of New York. So they played Friday. We won in a shortened game because we completed 5 innings. Matt Olson hit a 3-run home run, and then the game ended essentially like right after that. So I'll take the dub, and then
how does that work? Do we just have a score for the game to count, or
so you have to play at least 5 full innings, and so that's how much they played exactly. And then they put the tarp on the field.
Perfect.
And it didn't stop raining until today, Monday.
Today, yeah,
which is wild. Saturday's game, Sunday's game both got canceled. One of which is a doubleheader set for August. And then the second of which was a doubleheader today on Monday. We won the first leg. It was a close game, high-scoring game. Strider didn't have his best stuff, but Sean Murphy had 2 3-run home runs, so he had 6 RBIs on the day. And I was just checking in on the status of the second game. We're down in the top of the 8th right now, 4-3. But Sean Murphy is DHing in the second game. He has 2 more hits. The guy has been just extremely solid.
On tear.
Yeah, and he's just feeling good. Acuna hit a towering shot in the first game.
Is that not the best what am I trying to say? The most like moonshot of a home run you've ever seen? I've never seen someone hit the third deck before.
The camera didn't catch it at first either. Like on the first glance, like they didn't know how high it went. They I think it went that way, and then it was totally out of frame. That's how far he hit the ball.
The Mets fan who called it was like wanting to throw it back, but at the same time, I think he's like, dude, no one's ever hit it to this before.
Yeah.
Like, I should keep this ball. Like, for sure, he should keep that ball. The announcers, too, the Mets announcers are saying, I've never seen a home run hit that deck before.
Jeff Francoeur, who played for the Mets, he said, like, in 2 years of playing there, he has only seen, like, 2 balls hit there, like, ever.
Wow.
So it's pretty good company. But unfortunately, he got hit to start the
pitch.
second game. So honestly, I thought about it more. I don't know if it was intentional or not. Maybe they didn't like his celebration on the home run. It's hard to know. It's hard to know pitch to pitch if it's intentional or not.
I'm so sick of it though. Like you go back to the Marlins a couple of years ago and how they always hit him because they didn't like his antics. And it's like baseball's got to do something about this because people start getting suspended, get ejected. Because I hate it because the Braves
Yeah.
we never hit their players back. We just don't. So then they just hit Acuna for free, and now Acuna misses this game, and he could be seriously hurt. We don't know yet.
It's not always on purpose. So like Acuna is hitting like ridiculously this year. He's hitting 363 still. And so like I don't think they meant to like hurt him to take him out of the game. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I mean, he's such a good hitter. You have to be able to pitch him in, and not all the pitchers can do that effectively, and they end up hitting him. It just hit him in a really awkward spot. It was like the top of his left shoulder.
And his arm was like hanging afterwards.
Yeah,
which
that's why I was worried like about like a weird dislocation or something like that. But it's just a contusion, so I would expect him to be back by like midweek.
That's a bruise, right?
Yeah, like it is a very awkward spot to say the least. But yeah, as far as like other injury returns, Michael Harris finally came back. He was back on Friday, and he's playing today as well. So that's a good sign. He's fully cleared. Colin McHugh is back, so we bolstered the bullpen again. So that helped earlier today when Colin pitched in game 1. And then Raziel Iglesias, he is slated to come back early this week. So our closer. And we need him. By God, we need him. Minter has had a tough go of it as our closer. He blew a game last week against the Marlins. We were on our way to a 4-game sweep, and we gave up 5 runs in the 9th inning.
He's so good too. It sucks to see him struggle like this, and I can't tell if it's because he's playing in the 9th or like maybe he misses Matzik a lot. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't.
Pitchers are like kickers, man. Like it's like
mental. Yeah,
it really is. And so like as small of a thing as like pitching the 9th instead of the 8th can like be a block. And so he's had some of those demons before that he's battled with, and it's affecting him. But I think when Iglesias gets into town, he's gonna slot into his normal role. Iglesias as a closer, Minter as an 8th, and then probably like Colin McHugh as a 7th or the other setup guy or high leverage. And I think things will settle down because he still got the good stuff. He gave up a home run today, but he did end up getting the save still.
Pilar hit a home run.
Yeah, right? Kevin Pilar hit a home run against his old team.
Good. Azuna didn't play today either, which is
he didn't play either game, I don't think. So
yeah, I don't think he's playing the second. Rosario actually has 3 RBI in the second game. So
yeah, he had a 3-run homer as well. So hopefully we keep getting healthier and Ronnie isn't too banged up. Darno, we know he's hitting. He's gonna have to play in Gwinnett probably a little bit at this point since it's been so long. So hopefully he's feeling better. But
you see, Soroka had his first bad game.
Yeah, Soroka got touched up. He gave up like 8 runs in 3 innings or something like that. So, honestly, we might still see him in the next couple of weeks just because we might need him all the doubleheaders and stuff.
Yeah.
Just for depth. But we'll see if he's on the Gwinnett Express. He might be switching spots with Elder after a start or something later this week. But yeah, the bad start doesn't help his chances with that. Might give him a little bit more time to find it. But, that can happen at any moment. Strider had a bad game today too, by his standards. He still pitched 6 innings.
He had set the franchise record at 9 straight games of over 9 strikeouts, but he falls short 1 behind Chris Sale and 2 behind Nolan for the most consecutive games with 9+ strikeouts of all time.
Yeah, I think he had 8. He had 8.
He had 106 pitches though. They weren't going to put him back out there.
No, he was struggling early. The Mets are a hard team to strike out too because they're kind of more of like put the ball in play.
Contact hitter.
Yeah, like they have Jeff McNeil who's kind of notorious for that. Like slap the bat out there.
Nimmo's pretty similar.
It's not super popular in baseball, but more of a thing in softball. But yeah, that's the most of what's been going on with the Braves.
I'd say overall it's been a great bounce back week after the being swept from the Astros. You go on to gentlemen sweep the Marlins and maybe potentially gentlemen sweep the Mets. We might sweep them if we pull this game out.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we did, but we're shaping up well in the division, so nothing to worry about. We're getting healthier, and everybody's looking up at the Braves. I think we're like the second best team, probably like power rankings wise, behind the Rays, who just had that crazy, ridiculous hot start. But we
They're
have
incredible.
the depth to hang in there, and we're
We have
ranked.
the best odds to make the playoffs right now of any
Yeah,
team
I
in
mean,
baseball.
rightfully so, because everybody sees the depth, and like Bryce Elder is pitching this well. Like,
Yeah.
that's just like unexpected. But the Braves always have that guy. Somebody comes up and like overperforms and can make up for players that underperform, like Marcelo Ozuna
Yep.
or anything else. And then when Darno gets back, he's going to be DHing and splitting time with Sean Murphy, and the lineup will get even better. I don't know what's going to happen with Arcia and Vaughn. We still have some time to figure that out. But Vaughn is hitting extremely well. He's still figuring out defensively a little bit, but he'll
He had that
get
error
there.
today, but I agree with you. I don't think it should have been an error. I think
Yeah,
the player should have been called for illegal slide or whatever it's called.
yeah. So Vaughn did have an error earlier today, but it was the rule in Major League Baseball is you have to slide directly into second base now. You used to be able to break up plays by trying to slide into the shortstop or second baseman turning a double play. But yeah, it wasn't. He wasn't
Well,
close to the
technically,
bag at
you don't
all.
have to slide into the base. You have to be able to touch it with your hand. But I don't even
Yeah,
think he could have touched it with his hand
no,
from where he was at.
he was way wide. It was Jeff
Yeah.
McNeil again.
Yeah.
The guy's
Notorious for that kind of
rowdy.
stuff.
Well, he's just like he plays super hard, which I respect, but also it's a little annoying when
Yeah.
when it's against you.
Agreed. I was gonna have one more question for you. Do you think there's any chance? I don't see this happening, but maybe Soroka gets moved to the pen and like
I don't think so, just because I think if that was going to happen, it would have
it would have
happened
already
in Gwinnett.
happened. Okay.
I think they wouldn't be starting him. I
Right.
think they want to see if he can fill that last starter role and
That's fair.
solidify our rotation. But
So
it'd be more likely to me to see Elder do that. But I mean, they like having a 6th and 7th guy in the minor leagues that we can rotate
absolutely.
up, use their options, send them up and down as needed, or if there's injuries. So yeah, we'll probably see him continue to start, and then hopefully he gets an opportunity here soon.
Absolutely. I couple closing comments. One, Strider today, it was cool after he gave it the 4 runs. He comes back to the dugout and Snit and Strider are both looking at the pitching coach because they're trying to figure out what his call is. And Strider's like basically saying, like, dude, I still got this. Like he argued to go back out there and they let him go back out there, which I
Yeah.
love it. Like Strider,
I think he wanted to keep that record going, but also
I think he did too.
I
But
mean,
I think he wanted to win the game
yeah.
more than anything.
And he had a good inning. He's 3 up, 3 down. So
yeah, some tells me he's going to break that record again. So I'm not worried about it.
Incredible.
He's the best pitcher we've had since the big 3, and who knows if he could be better than those 3. I mean,
yeah, he's
never
a
know.
different kind of pitcher. He more aligns with John Smoltz just in the put away stuff and strikeouts
Right,
and like the velocity, but obviously
Yeah.
higher velocity. But maybe for that era
Yeah.
is kind of similar. But yeah, I mean, him paired up with Max Fried, that's just as good of a 1-2 punch as anybody else in baseball, if not
Yeah.
the best. So it's a good situation to be in.
Chipper Jones was out at the ballpark the other day for his birthday. I think it was his 50th birthday.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. He was celebrating, and Strider was pitching, and they asked him. He goes, "If I bat back, if I bat now, like what Strider out there, he goes, I would have been lucky to bat 200." Like he was making a joke, I think, because
Yeah.
obviously Chipper would have figured it out. But
Probably
I mean,
so.
it is like they throw it much harder. Like it's a good point. Like the velocity off of Strider is much quicker than John Smoltz.
Yeah.
Other thing too is Bryce Harper alert. He'll be back
yeah.
on Tuesday. So today, if you're listening, he's back.
Blake hates
back.
Bryce Harper, but I
hate him because he's not with us. I
Yes.
hate us because he ain't us. Like that's why I hate him.
the dude came back. He got Tommy John surgery, and he's going to be back playing in 2 months.
I saw it was like less than 150 days since when he had it.
Yeah,
I
like
think it was like 136 days, something like that.
it's incredible. Like he's not a pitcher. He's going to be DHing still, but like that's an incredible turnaround.
Is there any risk to that?
I don't know. Maybe he's like, I'll just try, and then I mean the Phillies need him. They've been struggling so far this season. So
Yeah. Who would have guessed that the Phillies and the Mets both would be looking up to the Marlins right now? So
yeah, the Marlins might be putting something together here. They
young
have
squad.
trouble. They have trouble hanging with Big Brother Braves, but yeah, it's I wouldn't be hurting my feelings if they put a couple losses on the Mets and Phillies this year.
I'd be very happy about that. Absolutely. One last thing. Sean Murphy is going to crush his season high home runs. I think 18 was his most he ever hit, and that was last year, and 600 appearances, and he's already hit 8 this year. So he's on pace for, I don't know, somewhere between 25 and 30.
Yeah. I mean, he's crushing it. He's barreling everything up. Maybe he's just seeing the ball better in Atlanta too. Everybody always said that Oakland is like a very tough place to play, and you should see an uptick in home runs. And hopefully we see Matt continuing to hit home runs this year too, because last year he was a little bit down on what was projected. So if we get Matt up to 40 home runs, Sean at 30, then we're starting to forget who Dansby and Freddie are a little bit.
Who? I saw a tweet talking about, it was from Matt Olson when he was still in Oakland. It said somebody saved this man, and it was AA who brought him to the Braves. And then the next year, someone did the same tweet to Sean Murphy, said someone saved this man, talking about the stadium and like how he'd hit better in every other park. And then they retweeted the Murphy or bringing Olson out because they're like, God, I love AA. He's not even a Braves fan. He likes good baseball players, and he wanted to see them out of Oakland.
I mean, what better place than playing for the Braves? That's a huge,
no better place.
Huge change.
Yeah.
But all right, anything else, my friend?
Dude, that's it, man. All our listeners, we appreciate all you do. Thank you for sticking around. Guys, please like and share our TikToks so we can keep growing that. It's a great way for the pod to get more recognition, and more engagement. And that way we can get more people listening to the pod. Because if you like this, we would love to make more pods, more episodes. And the more engagement, the more people we get to follow, the more we can do that. So yeah, appreciate all of you.
Hashtag 1,000 downloads per episode. That's our goal. So working on it. But all right.
Come on, Mom. I need to start downloading again.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.
Yeah.
Before you go, if you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share with your friends. If you'd like to see these mugs, all of our video podcasts are now available on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. For more content, follow at Blursed Sports on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also follow us individually at Blursed Blake, at Blursed Hayden, and at @A_Kais. If you're interested in chatting with us directly, join our new Discord community by typing discord.io/BlursedSports into your browser. As always, a huge shout out to our music man, Oh No, for keeping the vibe right and laying down straight slappers every week. You can find his information in the show notes. Thanks again so much for listening, and see you next week.